Okay. So, good afternoon, friends. How are you all doing? A very good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing fine. Okay. So, sir, what are we studying today? My dear friends, we are studying this topic, the name of which is demand. The name of which is demand. Okay. So, what do we study in this topic, sir? First of all, we will complete the concept of demand, beyond which we will talk about different types of demand. We will talk about factors affecting demand. We will talk about why demand curve is downward sloping. We will talk about exceptions to the law of demand. Along with that, we will talk about movement versus shift. So these are the topics that we will have to complete in demand. Sir, is there anything else? Yes. Then there is a broad discussion on elasticity of demand. So demand topic is a little broader than our chapter 1, and therefore this topic demand we will not complete in one class. We will cover it in two whole classes. Right, sir? Okay, great. So before we start with the topic, everyone, that is demand, before we start with the topic, everyone, which is demand, first of all, we need to know something. What, sir? Whenever we study about demand, we need to think from the consumer's point of view. We need to think from the consumer's point of view. Everyone, please remember this. If you are making notes, then remember that in demand, you will have to think from consumer's point of view. Because if you change the point of view, your chapter will go wrong. In demand from consumer's point of view, in supply also we have in our syllabus. There we talk about producer's point of view. Okay. So I hope everyone is ready now. Oh, great. Okay. Yes, the last class notes have been uploaded in the BOS app the same day itself. Okay. All right. It is in the name of Introduction and Basic Problems. The name of the PDF is. So it has been uploaded. Okay. All right. Now we talk about demand. What is demand? So dear students, demand is nothing but the quantity. Demand is nothing but the quantity of a commodity. Demand is nothing but the quantity of a commodity. What is demand? Nothing but quantity of a commodity, which the consumers are. Consumers or buyers, you can tell them. Demand refers to the quantity of a commodity which the consumers are. Now there are two things here, everyone. Consumers are able and willing, which the consumers are both able and willing to buy at a particular price at a particular point of time. So what is it? Demand, everyone, refers to the quantity of commodity which the consumers are able to buy, and willing to buy. Which the consumers are able to buy and willing to buy. Both should be there at different prices. Generally, we talk about an individual price at a particular price at a particular point of time. So what does it mean, sir? It means that suppose price is rupees 10, then what is quantity demanded? If price rises to rupees 15, then there will be separate quantity demanded. So whenever we talk about demand, we talk about the specific price level at which that demand is existing. Okay. So what is demand? Again, once in English, once in Hindi, I will summarize. Demand is nothing but the quantity which the consumers are both able to buy. Able means they can afford it, as well as willing to buy. It means it is their intention to purchase at a particular price at a particular point of time. To translate it into Hindi, demand का मतलब होता है वो क्वांटिटी, वो जिस मात्रा में या वो मात्रा जिसमें कंज्यूमर एक सामान को खरीदना चाहता है और वो खरीदना अफोर्ड भी कर सकता है, मतलब उसके पास इतने पैसे हैं कि वो खरीद सके, एंड एट द सेम टाइम वो उस समय उस पैसों से वो सामान खरीद भी लेते हैं एट अ पर्टिकुलर प्राइस एट अ पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. तो न केवल कैपेसिटी है बल्कि खरीदने की इच्छा भी है. दोनों चीजें हैं एक पर्टिकुलर दाम पर, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे दाम बदलता है आप लोग जानते हैं डिमांड भी बदल जाए. सो एवरीवन, क्या डिमांड क्लियर है? इज डिमांड क्लियर एवरीवन? इट इज ऑलवेज अबाउट एबिलिटी एज वेल एज विलिंगनेस टू बाई. Right, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. So this is what all about demand is. This is what all about demand is. Quantity which the consumers are able and willing to buy at a particular price at a particular point of time. So what is important? Ability and willingness. If you have understood, please write down in the chat ability plus willingness. Both should be there when we talk about demand. Both should be there when we talk about demand. Okay, great. So now the fact that we have cleared it, there are two concepts, friends, that you all need to understand. So please pay attention, everyone. Okay. There are two major concepts related to demand. Okay. Number one is individual demand. Number one is individual demand. And everyone, number two is market demand. Please have a look at these two concepts. You all tell me what the difference you see. Okay. Suppose we talk about a particular commodity. It can be anything. It can be rice, wheat, anything. Okay. Now pay attention. Price, quantity demanded by Mr. A. Suppose there is a person, Mr. A. We are talking about Mr. A. So let's say price is rupees 10. Quantity demanded by Mr. A is, let's say, 100 units. Let's say price rises to 15. So demand by Mr. A, let's say, falls down to 80 units. Okay. Price increases to 20 rupees and demand of Mr. A falls to 70 units. Okay, everyone. This is first case example that I have illustrated. Now another case example, price I have given you, quantity demanded by Mr. A, quantity demanded by Mr. B. Now price is 10, quantity is 100. Price is 15, quantity is 80. Price is 20, quantity is 70. And by quantity of Mr. B is, let's say, 80 units, 50 units, 30 units. Okay, everyone? So now when I add Mr. A's demand and Mr. B's demand, okay, or Mrs. A and Mrs. B's demand, then it comes to 180, 130 and 100. So what difference do you see when I explain individual demand and market demand? Sir, we understood that when you spoke about market demand, you had taken the example of more than one consumer and you added their respective demands. Exactly. That is what market demand is all about. It adds the individual demands. Market demand adds the individual demands. Market demand adds the individual demands. And therefore you are getting market demand. It adds the individual demands and therefore you get the market demand. Okay? Just like you see here, you have added the individual demands and you have got the market demand. The prices are different, you see, from 10 to 15, from 15 to 20. So, sir, just like this, how many consumers do we yet see? In reality, market has infinite number of consumers, hundreds, thousand crores of consumers. So I cannot take the example of 1 crore consumers. Nah? That's why I'm giving you an example of 2 or more than 2 consumers. Okay. So this is individual demand. When we analyze the demand at different prices for an individual consumer, IC means individual consumers. But when you add the demand for more than one consumer, when you add the demand, this is what we call as market demand. जब हम लोग एक कंज्यूमर के डिमांड का बात कर रहे हैं अलग अलग दामों पर, तब उसे इंडिविजुअल डिमांड कहते हैं. और जब हम ऐसे ही कई इंडिविजुअल डिमांड्स को ऐड कर देते हैं तो हमें मार्केट डिमांड मिल जाता है. क्या आप लोगों को ये बातें क्लियर है क्या? अच्छा, गुड. नाउ वन इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन कम्स. Sir, is individual micro and market macro? No. Both are micro. Both are micro. But sir, why? Here so you are taking all the consumers, then it should be macro. It is not. Why, sir? Because what did I say? When I had begun the example, I had told we are talking about individual product. We are talking only about one product. That's why it is micro. Yes, here there is one consumer. Here there is more than one consumer. That is correct. But we are taking only individual product. Now suppose if I had told you that instead of market demand, I would have told you demand for all the commodities by all the consumers. That would have been aggregate demand. That would be macro concept. Here I told all the consumers. But did I say all the commodities? No. Only one product we are talking about. That product can be rice, that product can be wheat. And since there is a touch of individuality here, it both are micro concepts only. It is a mistake that students make that they think market demand is a macro concept. No. Market demand is also a micro concept. Because here the commodity or the product is only one that we are talking about. Had we been speaking about all the commodities on planet, we would have called it a macro concept. Such a demand is called aggregate demand, not market demand. I hope now the difference is crystal clear. Okay, great. Very, very good. So please remember, both are micro concepts. Both come under business economics only. They are not macroeconomics concepts. Okay. Got it, sir? Sir, we have understood this. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, we come to demand diagrams, everyone. Now we come to demands diagram, everybody. So everyone, all of you need to pay attention, okay? Right, sir. We are ready. Please go ahead. See. Suppose I make an individual demand curve, something like this. Price, quantity, okay? Price is 10, quantity is 100. Price is 15, quantity is 80. Price is 20, quantity is, let's say, 50 units. Let's say, for example, okay, let's say, for example. All right. Now pay attention, everyone. Now please pay attention, everyone. Okay. Now, see, what is happening is, this is y-axis for price. This is x-axis for quantity. Okay. यहाँ पर price है, यहाँ पर quantity है. Okay, everybody. Now what I am telling you all is that suppose price, as you see, is 100 rupees here, is 10 rupees here. So price is very low. Now demand is everyone 100 units. So very high. So both of them seem to intersect here. Suppose now we have been given that price is 15 and quantity is 80. So suppose we take it to quantity 80. So it comes here, right, sir? It's here. And if somebody asks us to price to be 20 and quantity to be 50, where does it intersect? It intersect here, everyone. See, you all join it. You will automatically get a curve like this. Yes or no, sir? Yes, sir. अपने आप ही आपको ऐसा कर्व दिखेगा जब आप प्राइस y एक्सिस पर और क्वांटिटी x एक्सिस पर प्लॉट करेंगे. ठीक है. जब चीजों का दाम बढ़ते जा रहा है तब क्वांटिटी घटते जा रहा है. जब आप इसे प्लॉट करिएगा आपका ग्राफ ऐसा ही बनेगा. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, सच अ ग्राफ इज कॉल्ड डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग कर्व और डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग ग्राफ or inverse graph. Downward sloping curve or downward sloping graph. Very important. Graph in economics is very, very important. Yes, sir. It is downward sloping curve or it is also called the inverse curve. It is also called, everyone, the inverse curve. Inversely shaped curve, downward sloping curve, whatever name you want to give it, you have to give it. Okay. But sir, why is it called inverse curve or a negative curve? You see what is happening. When price is rising, quantity is what? Rising or falling? Quantity is falling. So this is called inverse relationship. Whenever there is inverse relationship, graph will be like this. Negative sloping, yeah, downward sloping graph, always like this. Okay. Yes. Downward sloping, negative sloping, सब एक चीज है. All right, sir. We are clear with that. So now, what interesting thing economists observed was that these are the two individual demand curves. Okay, you see, and then there is market demand. You know, there is one difference between individual demand and market demand. I mean, one main difference between the curves. Sir, what is the main difference? Individual demand curve are generally very narrow or steep. You know, they will fall like this or fall like this. market demand curve is relatively flat. Market demand curve is relatively flat. Now you will ask me why, sir? Right? This will be your question. Before this, you all learn this. आप लोग ये याद कर लीजिए कि इंडिविजुअल डिमांड जो है वो स्टीप होता है. स्टीप मतलब सीधा नीचे की तरफ गिरता है, जबकि मार्केट डिमांड थोड़ा फ्लैट होता है. गिरता तो ये भी नीचे की तरफ है, बट थोड़ा सा बेस फ्लैट एंड रहता है. Why this happens, sir? Why this individual demand curve is steep and market demand curve is flat? Why is it, sir? I will discuss why is it. But before that, I want you all to note down. Individual demand curves are steep, market demand curve is flatter. First, write it down, everybody. Very good. Everybody has written it down. Now your question was why? Your question was why? Why individual demand curve is steep and why market demand curve is flat? Why? Why is this steep and why is this flat? That is your question, right? Yes, sir. That is our question. So now, please be ready for the answer. See, in individual demand curve, what happens? I will explain the answer both in English and Hindi, so listen carefully. In individual demand curve, what happens is, suppose you talk about price and you talk about quantity. So when price changes, let's say it is 10 rupees, so quantity is 100. When you take price to be 20, it is 80. When you take price to be 30, it is 50. So problem with individual curve is, it talks about only individual consumer. So quantity levels are very low. But you all know what market curve is? It adds the demand from all the consumers. So here, when you calculate the quantity demanded, it is the quantity of consumer A plus B plus C. So the values are very high. For example, something like 300, something like 220, something like 100. So you see the gap, overall percentage gap is greater in case of market demand. And hence market demand tends to be flatter. So why is it flatter? Because it takes into account all the individual demands. So there is greater quantity change observed. And since greater quantity change is observed, we make market demand curve to be flatter. Since greater quantity change is observed, we make market demand curve to be a bit flatter, everybody. Since greater quantity change is observed, we make market demand curve to be a bit flatter, everybody. Now in Hindi, sir. इंडिविजुअल डिमांड कर्व में होता क्या है, हम लोग सिर्फ एक कंज्यूमर का क्वांटिटी जो बदल रहा है डिमांड का, उसको पिक्चर में ले रहे हैं. तो जो ग्राफ है वो ऐसे नीचे गिरता हुआ नजर आ. बट आप सोचिए, जब आप मार्केट डिमांड का बात कर रहे हैं तो आप बहुत सारे कंज्यूमर्स को जोड़ते हैं, तो जो ओवरऑल डिमांड में बदलाव भी आपको दिखता है वो थोड़ा ज्यादा दिखता है. क्यों? क्योंकि इसमें तो मल्टीपल कंज्यूमर्स एडेड है, तो जो बदलाव है वो भी ज्यादा होता है. और किसी भी कर्व में जब बदलाव ज्यादा होगा ना, वो कर्व हमेशा फ्लैटर बनेगा. ये आपका आंसर है. उम्मीद है सबको समझ आया. Yes, sir, it's crystal clear. Yes, sir. So individual is steeper, market is flatter. Correct, everybody. Now, everyone, if all of you are ready, then can we talk further? Are we ready, everybody? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we are ready. Now, everyone, in this graph, we are discussing types of demand now. Okay? Now, you see in this graph or in this diagram that you see, you observe car and a petrol. Now, you will tell me, guys, can car and petrol work without each other? Obviously, I am not talking about the cars run by battery or e-vehicles right now. I am talking about the traditional car, where there is car and petrol. Obviously, you will tell me that, sir, without petrol, how the car will run? Yes, such a demand where two commodities or more than two commodities are used together or required together, such a demand, my dear friends, is called joint demand, where products are used jointly or needed jointly. And what these goods are called, sir? My dear friends, these goods are called complementary goods. Sir, what are these goods called? Everybody, these goods are called complementary goods. Everybody, these goods are called कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स। सर इन गुड्स को क्या कहते हैं? कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स। तो ज्वाइंट डिमांड क्या हुआ? जहां वो कमोडिटीज आप परचेज करते हो जिन्हें हम साथ में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ऐसे गुड्स को कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स बोलते हैं और डिमांड को ज्वाइंट डिमांड बोलते हैं। आई होप क्लियर है सब। वेरी वेरी गुड। ऑल राइट, ग्रेट। Types of demand is over. I mean, part one is over, where we talk about joint demand. Now we talk about second case. You know, what do you see here? What is common here? What is common in this picture? There is one thing that is common for all these products that you see in the diagram here. There is cheese, there is butter, there is some paneer, there is some curd. What do you see common? Yes. You see that all these products are made of milk. Everyone, is it correct? Yes, sir. All these products are made of milk. So, my dear friends, this is what I am telling you, that such a demand where a product can satisfy multiple uses, such a demand, is called composite demand. Such a demand, everybody, is called composite demand. Demand for those commodities which have multiple uses. Demand for those commodities which have multiple uses. Such a demand or demand for such a commodity with multiple uses is called composite demand. Is called composite demand, which has multiple uses. Right, sir. Right. So this is what we call composite demand. Okay, great. Now, everyone, there is also another commodity or another nature of goods, not demand, but nature of goods, which are called substitute goods. Sir, substitute goods are like enemies of one another. Somehow you can say tea and coffee. So if you go to a cafe or a restaurant, you see, you will never, or more often than not, you will not see a person ordering both tea and coffee for themselves. They often ask, what do you want to have? You will want to have tea or you want to have coffee? If you visit to a relative's house, they will also do the same thing. They will ask what you will have, tea, coffee or cold drink. Such products which are substituting one another or rather enemies of one another, such commodities or such products are called substitute goods. I hope it is clear. जहां पे कमोडिटीज एक दूसरे के दुश्मन रहे, यानी कि अगर आप चाय पियोगे तो उसी समय आप कॉफी तो पक्का नहीं ले रहे, राइट? इसका मतलब है ये प्रोडक्ट्स सब्स्टिट्यूट गुड्स है। यहां डिमांड बोल के कुछ नहीं है, ऐसे गुड्स को हम लोग सब्स्टिट्यूट गुड्स बोलते हैं। बस ये समझ लीजिए, क्योंकि ये सब शब्द अभी इस्तेमाल होने वाले हैं। वर्ड्स लाइक दिस वी आर गोइंग टू यूज नाउ ना, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू ऑल टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, करेक्ट? राइट सर। Substitute goods. Substitute goods, I hope is crystal clear to everyone. Very good, sir. Sir, substitute goods is clear. Move forward, sir. Please move forward, sir. What is next? Everybody, now we talk about factors affecting demand. A very, very important topic. Factors slash determinants of demand. Factors affecting demand slash determinants of demand slash determinants of demand. Basically what are we studying here? कि on what does demand depend? मतलब डिमांड किन चीजों पे निर्भर है? फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग डिमांड और डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड. फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग डिमांड और डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड. We are going to study that here. Factors affecting demand or determinants of demand is what we are going to study. All right. So I hope everyone is clear now. Everyone is ready now. Okay. Factors affecting demand slash determinants of demand. Factors affecting demand slash determinants of demand. Okay. Great, great, great. All right. All right. All right. So number one, own price of the commodity. Here what we are studying? Here we are studying that demand depends on what things, on what concepts. Demand किन चीजों पे निर्भर करता है? On what does demand depend? On what does demand depend? Here we are studying that demand is affected by what factors? All right, let's go everyone. Number one is own price of the commodity. Number one is own price of the commodity. कमोडिटी का खुद का दाम, कमोडिटी की खुद की कीमत, कमोडिटी का खुद का दाम, कमोडिटी की खुद की कीमत. सर समझाइए प्लीज, सर प्लीज इलेबोरेट. ओके एवरीवन, पे अटेंशन. सी, when we talk about own price, when we talk about own price, factors affecting demand or determinants of demand. Number one is own price of the commodity. Number one is own price of the commodity. Okay. So now please listen carefully. Suppose, dear students, a commodity becomes expensive. That is, its price rises. Suppose a commodity becomes expensive, its price rises. दाम बढ़ जाएगा. तो अगर दाम बढ़ गया है, तो what happens to quantity demanded? What do you think will happen to quantity demanded? Yes, you are correct. It falls. Such a relation is called inverse relationship, where rise in one leads to fall in another. Where rise in one factor leads to fall in another factor. It is also called negative relation. It is also called inverse relation. Inverse relation or negative relation. I hope it is crystal clear to all of you friends. Right. Okay. So, in simple language, when price rises, quantity falls. When price falls, quantity demanded rises. Most often. There are exceptions. For exceptions, there is a separate head. We will discuss the exceptions अलग से. Okay? In Hindi, I will repeat. अगर commodity का दाम बढ़ेगा, तो वो महंगा होने की वजह से लोग उसे खरीदना कम कर देंगे. वहीं पर अगर वो सस्ता होगा, तो सस्ता होने की वजह से लोग खरीदना इंक्रीज कर देंगे. मैं अभी तक इतना ही बताया. हाँ, इसके कुछ एक्सेप्शंस होते हैं. कुछ ऐसे केसेस होते हैं जहां ये नहीं होता. बट हम लोग पहले नॉर्मल सिनेरियो, नॉर्मल बिहेवियर स्टडी करेंगे. फर्स्ट एवरीवन, वी विल स्टडी नॉर्मल सिनेरियो और नॉर्मल बिहेवियर. आई होप इट इज क्रिस्टल क्लियर एवरीवन. राइट सर. Okay. So this is number one, own price of the commodity. Number one, own price of the commodity. Own price of the commodity. All right, sir. Sir, we are ready. We are ready. Number one is over. Own price of the commodity. Okay. Next factor. See, I have made a chart here. So in this own price, I have explained this first one was own price. This is done now. Gone. All right. Now we talk about price of related commodities. We talk about price of related commodities. These two we are discussing now. Okay. So now the next heading is everyone, price of related commodities. What is it? Price of related commodities. Price of related commodities. So sir, our question is, how many types of related commodities are there? Sir, our question is, how many types of related commodities are there? Now everyone pay attention. Everyone pay attention. See? Acha, one of our friends has asked the meaning of Sasi Paribus. I will explain that. Don't worry. One of our friends is asking the meaning of Sasi Paribus. I will explain that. Don't worry. Just wait for 2 minutes. Okay? I will explain that. Okay. So see, price of related commodities. Everyone, this is factor number 2. Price of related commodities is factor number 2. See, there are 2 commodities here. Number 1 is complementary goods or complementary commodities, and number 2 is substitute goods or substitute commodities. Today only I revised with you What is complementary? What is substitute? Anybody in the chat box will like to tell me what are complementary goods? Anyone? Okay. Right. Very good. People are giving example. Sir, complementary means where the goods are used together. Like some of you said, car and petrol. Like some of you said, car and petrol that are used together. Correct. Substitute are the ones who are enemy of one another. Now, my friends, let's talk about complementary goods. Okay. Suppose price of car rises. My question is, what will be happening to quantity demanded of petrol? If price of car rises, what will happen, friends, to quantity of petrol? Can you tell me this? Very good. All of you are saying correct. Correct answer. That when price of car rises, that is car becomes more and more expensive. Gradually, what will happen is when car becomes more and more expensive, gradually what happens is that obviously people will reduce the consumption of car. Obviously, if consumption of car is reduced, consumption of petrol will be reduced. Na? Otherwise, why will people buy petrol? Okay. So here also we see inverse relationship. That is when price of car is rising, quantity of petrol is falling. That is when price of car is rising, quantity of petrol is falling. I hope it is crystal clear, everyone. Okay, let's go. Substitute goods. Substitute goods. Now we talk about everyone substitute goods. See, complementary goods we have understood. Now we talk about substitute goods. What are substitute goods, friends? Sir, what is substitute goods? As you all know, they are enemies of one another. So see, in complementary, you have already learned inverse relationship. In substitute, let me give you an example. Suppose tea, चाय महंगा हो गया, tea has become expensive. What will you do? People will generally start consuming more of coffee. If they want to have a hot beverage, then instead of tea, more often than not, people will start shifting to coffee, isn't it, sir? Yes, my dear friends, that is what is happening here. That when tea becomes expensive, demand for coffee goes up. It is called a direct behavior or a direct relationship. Since one is rising, the other is also rising. Okay. And now the meaning of the word ceteris paribus, which one of our friends was asking. Okay. So what is ceteris paribus? Okay. Please pay attention. Ceteris paribus means other factors remaining constant. Now please try and understand. Okay. Other factors remaining constant. What does it mean? See, when we are discussing about price, everyone, जब हम लोग price के बारे में बातें कर रहे हैं, everyone, when we are talking about price, do we care about related commodities? No, sir, we don't. I repeat my statement. When we talk about own price of the commodity, are we talking about the price of related commodities? No. Meaning, when I discussed with you that if price of car has increased, and if I am asking you what happens to quantity demanded of car, so you tell me it is falling, right? That is correct. Ceteris paribus means that whenever in demand, you are studying one factor affecting demand, other factors are assumed to be constant. You don't study more than one factor at a time. So it's not that price is also rising, but petrol has also become cheap. New technology has also come in. Number of consumers has also increased, because then it will become very difficult to predict whether demand will rise or demand will fall. It will become very difficult to predict. This is why I am telling you that in demand, whenever we are studying one factor, we are assuming other factors to be constant. हम लोग मान के चल रहे हैं, जब हम लोग एक फैक्टर को पढ़ रहे हैं तो हम लोग मानते हैं कि बाकी फैक्टर्स में कोई बदलाव नहीं आया, बाकी चीजों में कोई बदलाव नहीं आया। जब एक पढ़ रहे हैं तो केवल वही इंपैक्ट हो रहा है। आई होप क्लियर एवरीवन। यस, वेरी वेरी गुड, वेरी वेरी गुड। That is Ceteris paribus. So, anyone who wants to write the meaning, Ceteris paribus means other factors remaining constant. Meaning, study one factor at a time. Don't try to study 2 or 3 factors एक साथ में. Okay? So, now in Hindi, Ceteris paribus का क्या मतलब होता है? Ceteris paribus का मतलब होता है कि जब हम लोग एक फैक्टर स्टडी करते हैं, जैसे हमने पढ़ा कि जब प्राइस बढ़ेगा तो डिमांड का क्या होगा, तो आपने कहा कि डिमांड गिरेगा। तो जब हम लोग प्राइस डिमांड को कैसे अफेक्ट करता है ये पढ़ रहे हैं, तब हम लोग रिलेटेड और सब्स्टिट्यूट गुड्स के बारे में भी बातचीत करना शुरू नहीं करेंगे। हमेशा डिमांड पर जो इंपैक्ट होने वाला है वो एक फैक्टर का होने वाला है। तो जब भी कभी पढ़ें तो एक फैक्टर एट अ टाइम पढ़िए। दैट इज कॉल्ड सेटेरिस पेरिबस या अदर फैक्टर्स रिमेनिंग कांस्टेंट। अब क्लियर होगा आई होप। ओके, वन ऑफ योर फ्रेंड्स इज आस्किंग, okay, one of our friends is asking that suppose we are talking about Delhi and then we are talking about India, which one is microeconomics or which one is macroeconomics? See, it is not like that. It is not like that. माइक्रो और मैक्रो ऐसे नहीं होता। अगर आप दिल्ली के बारे में बात कर रहे हो तो दिल्ली में क्या हर चीज आप इंक्लूड कर रहे हो, सारे कंज्यूमर्स और सारे प्रोडक्ट्स? अगर हाँ तो ये भी मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स है। पर मान लीजिए आप दिल्ली के अंदर सिर्फ कंज्यूमर्स को स्टडी कर रहे हो और प्रोडक्ट एक ही है, या एक ही कंज्यूमर को स्टडी कर रहे हो और प्रोडक्ट बहुत सारे हैं, कुछ भी एक होगा तो वो माइक्रो होगा, और अगर सब कुछ ही सब है तो दैट इज मैक्रो। जिनका डाउट था, आई होप इट इज क्लियर। ओके, सो वी हैव स्टडीड so far 2 factors affecting demand. Number 1 is own price of the commodity. Number 2 is price of related commodities. When own price of the commodity rises, quantity demanded falls, and vice versa. And similarly, when you talk about related commodities, when price of car rises, we are talking about complementary, then quantity of petrol falls. So here also inverse relationship. And when you talk about substitute, when price of tea rises, then quantity demanded for coffee goes up. There is a kind of direct relationship that you see here. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. Okay. Yes, sir, it's crystal clear. Very, very good. So, we have studied 2 factors so far. Own price and price of related goods and price of substitutes. I mean, in related goods only, we study complementary and substitutes. Okay? Right. What is the next one, sir? Next one is income or disposable income. Income or disposable income. What is the next factor, sir? Income or disposable income. Sir, what does this mean? Income or disposable income? Okay, let me explain it to you. Okay. Let me explain it to you. Disposable income. You all see, there are 3 types of goods. Okay? For our discussion, we consider 3 types of goods. One is normal goods. Number 2 is inferior goods. And number 3 is inexpensive necessities. Okay? Now, I will ask you the question. You all answer me. Okay? All right. Normal goods, example, shirts. Okay? Now, everyone, suppose all of your dreams come true, all of you become chartered accountants, okay? So your income will increase, your income will rise. Agreed? Yes, sir. Our income will rise. Our income will rise. As we become chartered accountants, sir, yes, our income will rise. Very good. Now my question to you is, if your income rises, will you buy more clothes or you will buy less clothes? I am talking about normal goods. Will you buy more clothes or you will buy less clothes? Will you travel more or you will travel less? I'm talking about normal commodities only. Obviously, obviously you are correct. That's when our income rises, we will buy more of normal goods. This is what I am discussing. When income rises, quantity demanded rises and vice versa. Vice versa means opposite also true. So if income falls, quantity demanded will also fall. It is opposite is also true. It means everyone opposite is also true. It means everyone opposite is also true. I hope it is crystal clear to everyone. Yes, that is normal goods everybody. यही है नॉर्मल गुड्स एवरी कि जब आपका इनकम बढ़ेगा तो आप और कपड़े खरीदोगे ना अपने लिए. सो क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड बढ़ेगा और अगर आपका इनकम घटता है तो आप क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड कम कर दोगे. यही है नॉर्मल गुड्स का स्टोरी एवरी. आई होप इट इज क्रिस्टल क्लियर. सो सर अगेन देर इज डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप हियर, राइट सर? यस, दिस इज कॉल्ड डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप व्हेन बोथ आर गोइंग इन द सेम डायरेक्शन. Right. Normal goods over. Normal goods over. Yes. Next is inferior goods. Inferior commodities. Inferior goods or inferior commodities. Okay. Now pay attention everybody. Suppose I talk to you about rice. I talk to you all about rice. Rice means chawal. In Hindi, chawal. Okay. Now, suppose there is a person from low income group. Okay. There are two qualities of rice. For example, one is good quality rice, one is bad quality rice. Obviously, bad quality rice is cheaper, more sasta. Now you all tell me, when individual has low income, which quality rice they will buy? Obviously, bad quality rice. Now you all tell me, suppose an individual is consuming this bad quality inferior commodity. Now the income rises. What will they do? Will they buy more inferior quality goods, more bad quality goods, or what they will do? Or they will reduce buying poor quality goods. What will happen? If income rises, talk to me about demand for inferior goods. Come on, everyone. Talk to me about demand for inferior goods. Right, sir. Very, very good, everyone. So you all answered it absolutely clearly and correctly, rather. That yes, when income rises, yes, when income rises for of an individual, then quantity demanded of inferior goods will fall, will eventually fall, or will reduce. When income rises, quantity demanded will fall. Why? Because when your income has risen, then you will shift to better quality goods. जब आपका इनकम बढ़ जाएगा तब आप बेहतर क्वालिटी कमोडिटीज परचेज करेंगे. इसकी वजह से गिरता है इंफीरियर गुड्स का. किसका? इंफीरियर गुड्स का. किसका सर? इंफीरियर गुड्स का. जब आपका इनकम बढ़ेगा तो इंफीरियर गुड्स का क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड घटेगा. इसी वजह से होपफुली क्लियर है आप लोगों को. Yes, sir. It's correct, sir. Yes, sir. It's correct. Now we talk about inexpensive necessities. Now we talk about everyone inexpensive necessities. Inexpensive necessities. Inexpensive necessities. Now everyone pay attention. Okay. Inexpensive necessities. Example, salt. Namak. Salt. Now, my dear friends, you all tell me, if your income rises, will you start eating more namak? Will you start eating more salt? Or if your income falls, you will reduce reduction of namak or salt? No, sir. These are expensive necessities. These are inexpensive necessities. Right, everyone? And so, when your income rises, there is no change in demand for inexpensive necessities. Demand remains almost the same. Slightly it may rise, otherwise demand remains the constant. Even if income rises or even if income falls, there is no change whatsoever. Okay, sir. So, sir, disposable income, I am repeating again. First, I am revising in Hindi, then in English. देखिए, डिस्पोजेबल इनकम का अर्थ होता है आपका अर्निंग्स, आप कितना पैसे कमाते हो। अगर एक नॉर्मल गुड्स, नॉर्मल कमोडिटी है, जैसे कपड़े हो गए, बाहर घूमना फिरना हो गया, तो जैसे जैसे आपका इनकम बढ़ेगा वैसे वैसे आप और कपड़े खरीदोगे। सो डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप देखने को मिलता है। पर मान लीजिए अगर आपका इनकम कम है तो आप इंफीरियर गुड्स कंज्यूम कर रहे हो, बट जब आपका इनकम बढ़ जाएगा तो आप अभी भी इंफीरियर यानी कि खराब क्वालिटी के प्रोडक्ट खरीदोगे क्या? नहीं, इनकम बढ़ने पर इंफीरियर गुड्स को आप कम कर दोगे। इसीलिए इसे कहते हैं इनवर्स रिलेशनशिप। और इनएक्सपेंसिव नेसेसिटीज में क्या होता है दोस्तों, कि यदि अगर आपका इनकम बढ़ा, यदि आपका इनकम बढ़ा तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, आप नमक और नहीं खाना शुरू कर दोगे। या आपका इनकम घटेगा तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप नमक खाना कम कर दोगे या बंद कर दोगे, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला। This is what we are talking about, inexpensive necessities. I hope it is crystal clear, everyone. Absolutely. So normal goods, direct relationship, inferior goods, inverse relationship, inexpensive necessities, there is no impact only. No change as such. Everybody, please confirm if this much is clear. Okay? Then I shall proceed. I will proceed. Okay, everyone. Everybody is agreeing that yes, sir, it is crystal clear so far. Great, great, great. So now let's talk further, everyone. Next is tastes and preferences, everyone. So now everybody, what happens? Suppose taste of a let's say product, you can say that Nutella spread that you have na, the hazelnut spread. Suppose some of you like that. Now, if everyone, if tastes and preferences go in favor of a product, then quantity demanded of that product will rise. But suppose people don't like a product, then quantity demanded will fall. But this is what I am saying, everyone. I hope it is crystal clear to every friend. Okay, great. Next is consumer expectation. Consumer expectation. This is an interesting concept. Please take for example, that suppose we are talking about potatoes, okay, aloo. Now you are a consumer. This person is a consumer. Now this person thinks that in future, price of potatoes, that in future, price of potato will rise. Suppose price of potato in future will rise. Suppose, just for example. Now everyone, if price of potato is going to rise in the future, what will this person do? They will start purchasing more potato today. In reality, price of potato has not changed now. Consumer is thinking that it will rise in the future, so better purchase more of it now. Such a behavior is coming under consumer expectations, wherein there is not really a change in price or quantity demanded for that matter. It is just that the consumer feels that price is going to rise or fall. And in order to react to that, the quantity demanded rises or falls. Yes. All right. Sir, it happened na in times of COVID also. कोविड का भी एक एग्जांपल मैं ले लेता हूं कंज्यूमर एक्सपेक्टेशन का। कोविड में क्या होता था, अपने को लगता था कि मास्क का दाम और बढ़ जाएगा, तो मास्क का दाम और बढ़ जाएगा, इस डर से हम लोग कोविड में उसी समय ज्यादा मास्क खरीद के रख लेते थे, क्योंकि ये डर था कि फ्यूचर में मास्क का दाम और बढ़ जाएगा। तो आज ही हम लोग परचेज ज्यादा करके रख लेते थे, हाँ या ना बताइए? जी हाँ सर, दिस इज कंज्यूमर एक्सपेक्टेशंस। सो सर, मेन 5 फैक्टर्स वी हैव स्टडीड, आई एम समराइजिंग इट फॉर यू ऑल, ठीक है? I am going at a faster pace. I hope you all will understand. Okay. So see, number one, I'll go a little faster. Okay. So please catch up with me. So there are generally five factors affecting demand. Number one is own price of the commodity. When own price of the commodity rises, then quantity demanded falls. Then there is price of related commodity. There are two types of related commodities, complementary and substitute. When price of the complementary rises, then quantity demanded for the complementary will fall. But when price of substitute rises, the quantity demanded for substitute will also rise along with it. Next is disposable income. There are three types of commodities in disposable income: the normal, the inferior, and the inexpensive necessities. If the income rises, the normal commodity demand will rise. If income rises, inferior commodity demand will fall. And for inexpensive necessities, there will be no change whatsoever. Then we talk about taste and preferences. If taste and preferences move in favor of a commodity, the demand will rise. If taste and preferences move against the commodity, demand will fall. And finally, expectation regarding future prices. So if the consumer expects that the future price is going to rise, then presently they will demand more. And if they expect that the future price will fall, they will demand later on. Today's demand will fall. My dear friends, is everything revised, everybody? Yes or no, please? I know I have went very fast. It is for you to catch. Yes, sir, it's clear. Okay, great, 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 great. Okay, great, everyone. Now, everyone, we are discussing other factors affecting demand. So only this much is not what affects demand. There are other factors also which affect demand. और भी फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो डिमांड पर असर छोड़ते हैं. हम लोग अब उन फैक्टर्स को पढ़ने वाले हैं. ठीक है. ओके. ओके, ग्रेट. Population. When we talk about population, everyone, as the population increases, that is the number of consumer increases. You all tell me, friends, you all know this already. If the population increases, there are more number of people in the market, then what will happen to quantity demanded? Yes, you all are correct. That, sir, if there is more population, that is, there are more people in the market, then quantity demanded will rise. You are correct. Again, another factor is age distribution. So what does your country have? If suppose our country has majority of people, if sir, our country has majority of people, if sir, our country has majority of people, everyone pay attention, who are young, then demand for those commodities which the young people mostly consume will rise. I'll give you an example. Suppose, I am just for example saying that suppose young people go to cafe more often, right? It's not that I'm saying that old people can't go to coffee or don't go to cafe. Just for example, I am saying. So when you see that if the town has more young people, then the town will have more number of cafes, more number of gyms, let's say. And accordingly, if the town has more number of old people, then the commodities which generally old people use more, then demand for those commodities will be more. Suppose in a country or in a city, there are more number of old people. Now, when a person crosses the age 70, they generally need a walking stick to help them. So the demand for such walking stick will rise maybe. So depending upon the composition, the demand is also impacted. Right, very good. National income or the income of the people. Obviously, if people have more income, obviously, if people have more income, that is country has more income, demand will be more. If country has less income, demand will be less. If country has more income, demand will be more. If country has less income, demand will be less. I hope it's crystal clear, friends. Yes, sir. Finally, credit facilities. What is credit facilities, sir? Credit facility basically means basically where you get loans at cheaper rates, EMI options. So if loan is available easily, demand will increase because people will take loan and buy products. Okay. Sir, now this whole thing in Hindi. अगर पॉपुलेशन जनसंख्या ज्यादा होगी तो डिमांड ज्यादा होगा, जनसंख्या कम होगी तो डिमांड कम होगा. इट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. अगर आपकी कंट्री में ज्यादा लोग यंग है तो वो कमोडिटीज जो यंग लोग कंज्यूम करते हैं उनका डिमांड ज्यादा होगा. पर ज्यादा ओल्ड पॉपुलेशन है तो जो कमोडिटी वो लोग कंज्यूम करते हैं उनका डिमांड ज्यादा होगा. अगर नेशनल इनकम की बात करें, नेशनल इनकम ज्यादा तो डिमांड ज्यादा, और अगर नेशनल इनकम कम तो डिमांड कम. और लास्टली क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी. क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी मतलब लोन की व्यवस्था. अगर आपको सस्ते रेट में लोन मिले तो आप लोन लेकर सामान खरीदना चाहोगे तो डिमांड बढ़ेगा. अगर लोन मुश्किल है लेना क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट बहुत हाई है या बहुत सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स चाहिए होते हैं, तब डिमांड गिरेगा क्योंकि लोग लोन लेने से कतराएंगे. हाँ जी. सो फ्रेंड्स, हियर वी हैव कंप्लीटेड our factors affecting demand. Now we will talk about demand function. We will talk about demand function. Are we clear till here, everybody? Yes or no, please? All right. Very, very good. Okay. Okay. Very good, everybody. Great. Demand function. Demand function. Let me give you a maths example so that you understand demand function. Okay. Suppose I write y equals to 2x plus 3 as an equation, everyone. Suppose I write y equals to 2x plus 3 as an equation, everyone. Okay. I've written y equals to 2x plus 3. Okay. I've written y equals to 2x plus 3. Now my question to each one of you is, that to find y, whose value do we need? Sir, we need the value of x. Because as long as we don't have the value of x, we cannot compute the value of y. So what I mean is, suppose x equals to 1. Suppose x equals to 1. Then everybody, what will y be equal to? Sir, y will be equal to 2 into 1 plus 3. That will be 2 plus 3. That is 5. Suppose x is equals to 2. Then what will y be? 2 into 2 plus 3. That is 7. So, sir, why are you teaching maths? No, I am not teaching maths. I'm just trying to explain you something. All of you could see that there is some relationship between y and x. All of you could see that there is some relation between y and x. So, as you have the value of x, you can compute the value of y. As you have the value of x, you see you can compute the value of y. Yes or no, everybody? Yes, sir. So everyone, can we say y is dependent on x? Because you will not get the value of y as long as you don't put the value of x. So yes, y for its value is definitely dependent on x. Y for its value is definitely dependent on x. Y for its value is definitely dependent on x. This is what we call y is a function of x. Y is a function of x. Y is a function of x. That is, y is dependent on x. So we can say y is a function of x. Very good, sir. Now what, sir? So friends, we have understood that y is a function of x. That is, y for its value is depending on x. Y for its value is depending on x. Is that correct? Yes, sir, that is correct. Now what I am asking you is that if y for its value is dependent on x, similarly, the quantity demanded of a product is dependent on so many factors we have just studied, like own price of the commodity, price of complementary goods, price of substitute goods, consumers' tastes and preferences, population, etc., etc. Such a relation between demand and factors affecting demand is called demand function. Such a functional relationship between demand and factors affecting demand is called demand function. Such a functional relationship between demand and factors affecting demand is called demand function. I hope it is crystal clear, everyone. Yes, very, very good. That is what demand function is. So suppose if you are asked what is demand function, obviously we are writing an objective answer, but just for your understanding, I am saying demand function is nothing but a functional relationship, between demand and factors affecting demand. Demand function is nothing but a functional relationship between demand and factors affecting demand. I hope it's clear, everybody. Great, sir. So now, if we talk further, if you talk any further, please pay attention, everyone. See, what is demand function? It is a functional relationship between demand and factors affecting demand. All of you get that, right? What is demand function? Functional relationship between demand and factors affecting demand, right? Now, now, we come to the concept of law of demand. What does law of demand state? What does law of demand state? First of all, everybody, law of demand was given by Alfred Marshall. Who gave it? Alfred Marshall. So what did Mr. Marshall say about the law? As per law of demand stated by Alfred Marshall, when price of a commodity rises, you all already know. We have studied it in on price of the commodity. When price of the commodity rises, quantity demanded falls. And when price of the commodity falls, quantity demanded rises. Other factors remaining constant. It is a very important assumption. Other factors remaining constant. Other factors remaining constant. Other factors remaining constant. This other factors remaining constant is also called ceteris paribus. What does it mean, sir? It means that when you are studying price and quantity, then don't think about other factors affecting demand. Otherwise, it will become very difficult, to predict the relationship exactly. It will become very difficult to predict the exact relationship. Hence, what do we say? We say that yes, there is inverse relationship, but we do not say what other factors are affecting it. We don't talk about other factors, because if you start talking about multiple factors at the same time, you will never know what will happen to demand. So we talk about only one factor at a time, and hence ceteris paribus. That is other factors remaining constant. Hopefully, everyone, it is crystal clear so far. Great. This is law of demand, everybody. When price of a commodity rises, quantity demanded falls. And when price of a commodity falls, quantity demanded rises. Other factors remaining constant. All right, great. Now, we are discussing exceptions to the law of demand. A very interesting discussion. Exceptions to the law of demand. Exceptions to the law of demand means where law of demand, cases where law of demand is not followed. What does exception mean? Everyone, exceptions means where law of demand is not followed. Exceptions means where law of demand is not followed. Exception means where law of demand is not followed. जहां law of demand follow नहीं होता है. ओके. एक्सेप्शंस का मतलब होता है दोस्तों वो केसेस जहां लॉ ऑफ डिमांड नहीं माना जाएगा. मतलब जो ये रिलेशन आप पढ़े हो ना कि प्राइस बढ़ेगा तो डिमांड घटेगा या प्राइस घटेगा तो डिमांड बढ़ेगा, अब ये रिलेशन फेल हो जाएगा. अब ये रिलेशन फेल हो जाएगा. इन एक्सेप्शंस this relations will fail. We say now when price rises, quantity falls, or when price falls, quantity rises. All this relation or behavior will fall or will fail in case of exceptions to the law of demand. Okay, so let's talk about each one at a time. Okay. Number one is articles of snob appeal, snob effect, Veblen effect, conspicuous goods. They are different names for the same point. Snob appeal, Veblen effect, conspicuous goods, all are one and the same. All are one and the same. So, sir, what is it? Can you please elaborate it to us? Yes, I am elaborating it. Please pay attention, everyone. Okay, sir. So, see, what is snob appeal or what is Veblen effect is very simple. Right. Snob appeal, Veblen effect or conspicuous goods. Number one, there are people who are conscious of their social prestige, societal status, social status. You know, in the news, you study na, that this sheikh in Dubai has bought, let's say, for example, golden Lamborghini, golden Ferrari. Why they are doing this? To show their status, to show their high social class, to show their high prestige. Right, everyone? So when we increase the consumption of a product, when we increase the consumption of a product and we purchase more of a product, when we increase the consumption of a product and we increase more of a product, when we want to show off our high status, that is called snob appeal. So here when price rises, we consume more of the product. Suppose, for example, in the news, it comes that diamond has become more expensive. You know what the rich person will do? Initially, they had 2 diamond rings. They will buy 3 more diamond rings and wear it to show the society that when price has risen, I have purchased more diamond rings. To show their high status quo, to show their high social prestige. This is an abnormal behavior. Any exception will always reflect an abnormal behavior. Exactly. तो स्नॉब अपील या वेबलिन इफेक्ट क्या हुआ? यहां पर कंज्यूमर अपने हाई क्लास स्टेटस को दिखाने के लिए जब प्रोडक्ट कीमती होता है, महंगा होता है, तो महंगे सामान को और खरीदता है, ये दिखाने के लिए कि वो हाई क्लास को बिलोंग करता है, उसे प्रोडक्ट के दाम से फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ये शो ऑफ करने के लिए. ओके सर, इट्स क्रिस्टल क्लियर. सर, इट्स क्रिस्टल क्लियर. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू giffen goods. Everybody, now we move to giffen goods. So where does this story begin of giffen goods? Where does giffen goods story begin? Okay, sir, you tell us. All right then. So see, story of giffen goods begins during the time of World War. There was the British economist whose name was, Robert Giffen. So it was Robert Giffen who comes into the picture now. What did Robert Giffen observe? Please remember, we are in the times of World War. We are in the time of World War. So what did Robert Giffen observe? Please pay attention, everyone. What did Robert Giffen observe? Everybody, what Robert Giffen observed was, there are 2 types of goods, suppose. What did Robert Giffen observe? I am explaining you all. See, during the World War in Britain, people used to consume mainly 2 types of commodities. What are the 2 types of commodities? Mainly bread and chicken. Let's say, for example, okay, right. Now what happened was, everyone, price of bread started rising. Price of bread started rising during World War. Acha. Bread is something that was the basic necessities. That was the basic necessity of people. And chicken was like a party food, leisure food. A food that you enjoy. Like pizza, burger, it was like that for them. Now, friends, what happened was, the price of bread started rising. Okay? The price of bread, everybody, started rising. Sir, so everyone, when price of bread started rising, people became worried that, oh my God, What if we don't get our basic necessities? So what people did was they reduced the consumption of chicken. They reduced the consumption of chicken, and the money that they used to spend on chicken, now the same money they started to invest in bread, or rather spend in bread. You know what strange behavior was noticed? That when bread's price was low, demand was also less. I mean, comparatively less. But when bread's price increased, demand also became more than previous. You know why? Because the people became so afraid that all the money of chicken they were putting into bread. So despite the rising price of bread, the demand for bread started rising. Again, an abnormal behavior where price is rising and demand is rising. But remember, given goods are a type of inferior goods only. Given goods are a type of inferior goods only. सर अब आप इसी चीज को हिंदी में बताइए. गिफन गुड्स दोस्तों एक इंफीरियर गुड्स का ही टाइप. गिफन गुड्स दोस्तों एक इंफीरियर गुड्स का ही टाइप है. गिफन गुड्स दोस्तों एक इंफीरियर गुड्स का ही टाइप है. गिफन गुड्स दोस्तों एक इंफीरियर गुड्स का ही टाइप है. गिफन गुड्स में क्या होता है एक बार समझ लीजिए आप. क्या होता है गिफन गुड्स में? देखिए, ये बात वर्ल्ड वॉर के समय की है, जहां ब्रिटेन में लोग दो तरीके के खाने मेनली खाया करते थे. एक जो अपने डे टू डे खाने की जरूरत को पूरा करने के लिए ब्रेड खाते थे, और पार्टी के लिए, सेलिब्रेशन हो कोई, उसके लिए चिकन खाया करते थे. ठीक है. अब हुआ क्या, वर्ल्ड वॉर का समय था और ब्रेड का दाम बढ़ने लगा. अब जब ब्रेड का दाम बढ़ने लगा, लोगों के अंदर ये डर आ गया कि भाई कल को खाने नहीं मिला तो लोगों ने जो पैसे चिकन में लगाते थे उसको भी ब्रेड में लगाने लग गए लोग. क्यों? क्योंकि लोग डर गए थे. एक अब नॉर्मल बिहेवियर सा देखने मिला. और पता क्या चला कि ब्रेड का जो पहले दाम था अब उससे ज्यादा दाम है. बट डिमांड जो पहले था, डिमांड भी अब उससे ज्यादा है, क्योंकि लोग सारे चिकन के पैसे ब्रेड में लगा रहे हैं. याद रखिएगा, गिफन गुड्स एक इंफीरियर गुड्स की ही कैटेगरी को बोल रहे हैं. गिफन गुड्स एक इंफीरियर गुड्स की कैटेगरी को ही बोला करते हैं. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. Two exceptions we have studied so far. Number one, snob appeal, and number two, given commodities or given goods. Here we don't talk about Sasi Paribus, correct? Yes. Interestingly, now everyone, the third exception is conspicuous necessities. Conspicuous necessities. Conspicuous necessities. What is conspicuous necessities, sir? Please pay attention, everyone. What is conspicuous necessities, everyone? Sir, pay attention. See, conspicuous necessities means necessities, first of all. Conspicuous necessities means necessities, first of all. Okay. Now, initially, they were not necessities. Because of change in situation, it became necessity. Sir, we did not understand. Okay. My dear friends, all of you know that laptops and phones are not necessity. Correct? But think of COVID times. The price of laptop was rising. Price of phones was rising. Yes or no? Yes, sir. But during COVID, the same laptop and same phone became a necessity because online class remained an option. Offline, you could not go. This is what I'm saying. Same for work. People could not work at office, so they needed a system at home. So despite the rise in price, something may become a necessity depending on situation we are living in. And hence the quantity demanded may rise. And hence the quantity demanded may rise. I hope it's crystal clear, everyone. सर हिंदी में? ओके. कंस्पिक्युअस नेसेसिटीज का मतलब होता है वो चीजें जो नॉर्मली नेसेसिटीज होती नहीं है, बट आपका नेचर या जिस सिचुएशन में आप हो उस समय वो नेसेसिटी बन जाता है. जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे आप लोग देखिए, कोविड के पहले ऐसा नहीं था कि सबके पास लैपटॉप या फोन था, बट कोविड की वजह से बच्चों का पढ़ाई भी फोन या डिमांड उनका बढ़ते चला गया है। इसे कहते हैं कंस्पिकुअस नेसेसिटीज। राइट सर। करेक्ट। करेक्ट सर, करेक्ट। What is next, sir? Everybody, the next point is future expectations. What is the next point? Future expectations, sir. Sir, what is future expectations? Sir, you have explained this in the factors affecting demand also. Yes, I have explained. When a consumer thinks that commodity will become more expensive in the future, there is no change in price today. They think that the price will become more expensive in future. Product will become more expensive in future. Just out of the fear that product will become more expensive in future, the present demand is increased. Such an abnormal behavior is called future expectations. Future expectations. And finally, everyone, the last exception that we will discuss is speculative goods. Speculative means which involve guesswork. जहां guess करना ही पड़ेगा. Speculative means which involve guesswork, where you will have to guess. So what happens is, in case of speculative goods, pay attention everyone. Suppose price of shares of Reliance Industry increased. So now you may think that, acha, Reliance share prices are rising. So what I can do is, I can buy more of Reliance shares today only. Why? Because I think the price will further go up. So I can take advantage of the rising prices. So kind of speculation you are doing, a kind of guesswork and estimate you are doing. It may be a calculated one, but a guesswork is involved. So despite the rising price of Reliance shares, you are still rising the demand because you think that the prices are going to rise further. So you are buying at a high price and you want to sell it later at an even higher price. A guesswork is involved. Speculative goods. मैंने क्या कहा दोस्तों? मैंने बताया स्पेक्युलेटिव गुड्स के अंदर कि होता क्या है कि आपको लगता है कि रिलायंस के शेयरों का दाम बढ़ेगा। क्योंकि आपको लगता है रिलायंस के शेयर का दाम बढ़ेगा, तो बिना डिमांड को अफेक्ट किए, मतलब अब समझिए बात को, आपको लग रहा है कि दाम बढ़ेगा और आज भी थोड़ा सा दाम बढ़ा। अब आज अगर थोड़ा सा दाम बढ़ा, आपको लगता है आने वाले एक साल में और बढ़ जाएगा, तो भले ही आज दाम बढ़ा है, आप और खरीद लेते हैं रिलायंस। क्यों? क्योंकि आपको लगता है और बढ़ेगा इसके बाद भी। इस अबनॉर्मल बिहेवियर को हम लोग स्पेक्यूलेशन बोलते हैं। उम्मीद है क्लियर है एवरीबॉडी। राइट सर। फ्रेंड्स, देयर इज वन मोर थिंग कॉल्ड बैंडवैगन इफेक्ट। बैंडवैगन इफेक्ट। बैंडवैगन इफेक्ट। When we talk about a product, because everybody has that product, we also want that product. That is bandwagon effect. I will give you an example. Suppose three of your friends have iPhone. Okay? You have a regular Android phone. Now your phone also does all the work. Their phone also does all the work. But since your other three friends have iPhone, you also need iPhone. Despite iPhone being more expensive. Such an abnormal behavior of wanting something because others also have it is called bandwagon effect, where you want more of a commodity because other people also have that commodity. Follow the trend or crowd. It is also an abnormal behavior. Now, friends, we are going to practice some MCQs. I hope all of you are ready. I hope all of you are ready. Yes, sir, we are ready. We will proceed further, but after one or two, discussion. Pay attention, everyone. Okay. Question one. Question one. Which of the following is not a factor affecting demand? is not a factor affecting demand? A, own price. B, price of related commodities. C, income of consumer. D, none of these. Remember, my question is, which one of the following is not a factor affecting demand? Come on, everyone, your answers, please. Everyone correct. The answer is one, part D. None of these. Because all of them are factors affecting demand. Very good. My next question to you. Demand curve is dash sloping. A, downward. B, upward. C, negative. D, both A and C. What is the slope of demand curve like? Question to everyone. So friends, here the answer will be D. You know why? Because yes, demand curve is downward sloping, but same is for negative sloping. I told you now, a curve like this can be called a downward sloping curve, negative sloping curve, all are the same only, na? I have told you all. Right, sir. Great, everyone. Great, everyone. Now, everybody, we will talk about the third point. Okay? Shall we talk about the third point, friends? Yes. Third question. When price of substitute goods, when price of substitute rises, quantity demand will rise, fall, no change. D, both A and C. Right. So see, when price of substitute goods rises, yes, you are correct. When price of substitute goods, everybody, when price of substitute goods, everyone, when price of substitute goods, pay attention, please. When price of substitute goods, everybody, please remember, when price of a substitute good rises, when price of a substitute good rises, quantity demanded will also rise. For example, if price of tea rises, then obviously quantity for coffee will rise now, and hence it will be rise. Correct answer. Very good. Because I had told you in substitute there is direct relationship. Correct. Next question. Which of the following is not an exception of demand. Not an exception of demand. The question is not an exception of demand, mind you. Not an exception of demand. So your options are A, bandwagon effect, Giffen effect, expectations regarding future prices, income of consumer. Which of the following is not an exception of demand? Absolutely correct, everyone. For 4, your answer is D. For 4, your answer is D. Income of consumer. Income of consumer is the correct answer because it is a factor affecting demand, not an exception. Correct. Okay. Next question. Demand for commodities that have several uses is A, joint demand, B, composite demand, C, substitute demand, D, none. Commodities that have several uses. Absolutely correct. That have several uses is called composite demand. Demand for commodities that have several uses is called composite demand. That's the correct answer, everyone. Okay, got it. Great. All right. Friends, now we move on to the next heading. Are we ready? The question is rationale of law of demand. That is, why is the demand curve downward sloping? Rationale means logic. Logic behind the law of demand. That is, yes, they are saying that yes, law of demand tells that when price rises, quantity falls, or when price falls, quantity rises. That's correct. They are stating very good. But how this relationship has been established? So I will discuss with you some few points. But remember, the conclusion will be, see, price has risen, quantity has fallen, or price has fallen, quantity has risen. The conclusion will always be the same. The method of explaining it will be different in all the cases. But the ultimate conclusion will be, see, price fall, quantity rose, price rise, quantity fall. Are we ready, friends? Are we ready, friends? Okay, great. So now pay attention, everyone. Rationale of law of demand. Why is demand curve downward sloping? Question is, why is demand curve downward sloping? Number one, price effect. Number one is price effect. So see, price effect is a sum total of two things. Price effect, everyone, is a sum total of two things. Number one, income effect. And number two, substitution effect. Price effect is a sum total of two things, income effect and substitution effect. Got it, sir? Yes, sir, it's correct. Price effect is a sum total of two things, income effect and substitution effect. Yes. But what is income effect? What is substitution effect, sir? Pay attention, everyone. I am explaining income effect. Okay? See, if there are two individuals, Mr. A and Mr. B, okay? Both have nominal income. Nominal income means the money in hand. Nominal income means the money in hand. Okay? Both have the same nominal income. Okay? Both have the same nominal income. So suppose Mr. A receives 10,000 in hand. Mr. B also receives 10,000 in hand. Okay? Both have the same nominal income. Great. Now pay attention. Suppose the country in which Mr. A is living, both are in rupees. Okay, for example. Here, one apple costs rupees 100 and the country in which Mr. B is living, one apple costs rupees 200. So how many quantities of apple Mr. A can consume and how many Mr. B can consume? Obviously, you will tell me, sir, that 10,000 divided by 100 is 100. So Mr. A can have 100 apples while Mr. B can only have 50 apples. My dear friends, this is called real income. Real income is nothing but the purchasing power. You see, both have the same nominal income. Nominal income is nothing but the cash in hand that you are getting. Nominal income is nothing but the cash in hand that you are getting. But in reality, Mr. A has a higher real income than Mr. B. Mr. A has a higher real income than Mr. B. Is it or is it not? Yes, sir, it is. So friends, since Mr. A has a higher real income, everyone, since Mr. A has a higher real income, they have a higher purchasing power, so they can buy more quantity. So we can say, more the real income, more the quantity. More the real income, more the quantity demanded. Correct? Yes, sir. But now, why Mr. A has more real income? Because the price is low. So see, interestingly, there is a complete circle possible. So when price is low, you can buy more. So it means you have more purchasing power. If more purchasing power means you have more real income. And if you have more real income, then there is more, yes, quantity demanded. There is more, yes, quantity demanded. So when price falls, quantity demanded rises. When price falls, quantity demanded rises. This is income effect. This is income effect. I hope it is crystal clear, friends. So, sir, you have explained that only, that when price falls, quantity rises. I told you, everywhere conclusion will be same. If price falls, quantity rises. The method of explaining will be different in all these points. So, everyone, when price reduces, purchasing power increases. When purchasing power increases, real income increases. When real income increases, quantity demanded increases. I hope it is crystal clear, everyone. Yes, sir. This is what income effect is. Income effect is mainly related to real income. Remember, and what does real income mean? Real income means purchasing power. Okay. Now we shall discuss substitution effect. Okay. Substitution effect. What is substitution effect, friends? Substitution effect means, everyone, that when price of tea rises, see, when price of tea rises, what will happen to quantity of tea? Quantity of tea will fall because tea has become more expensive. Since quantity of tea has fallen, quantity of coffee has risen. Since coffee is relatively cheaper. See, price of coffee did not fall. Price of coffee was same. It's just that price of tea has become more. So tea has become relatively cheaper. Tea has become relatively more expensive. And since tea has become relatively more expensive, coffee by default has become relatively cheaper. And so demand has increased. This is called substitution effect. And if they ask you what is price effect, please do not forget, always remember to tell them Price effect is income effect plus substitution effect. Is income effect plus substitution effect. My friends online, I hope it's clear. Okay, great. Great, great, great. So friends, if this much is clear, income effect is also done and substitution effect is also done. Sir, in Hindi, can you explain? Okay. प्राइस इफेक्ट दो चीजों को मिलाकर बनता है, इनकम इफेक्ट को मिलाकर और सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट को मिलाकर। इनकम इफेक्ट का लेना देना रियल इनकम से है। रियल इनकम का अर्थ होता है परचेजिंग पावर। जब आपका नॉमिनल इनकम सेम है बट आपके कंट्री में कमोडिटी का दाम कम होता है, तब आप समझिए आपका परचेजिंग पावर ज्यादा होता है। और जब आपका परचेजिंग पावर ज्यादा होता है, ऑटोमेटिकली आपकी कमोडिटी का डिमांड भी जो है वो बढ़ते चला जाता है। यही मैं समझा रहा था दोस्तों, उम्मीद है क्लियर हो। और सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट कहता है कि अगर मान लीजिए चाय महंगा हो जाता है तो कॉफी अपने आप सस्ता हो गया। कॉफी के दाम को कुछ नहीं हुआ, बट क्योंकि चाय महंगा हुआ तो चाय का डिमांड गिरा, तो ऑटोमेटिकली जब चाय का डिमांड गिरा, अपने आप ही कॉफी लोगों को सस्ता लगने लगा और कॉफी का डिमांड बढ़ गया। इससे सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट कहते हैं। और जब आप इनकम इफेक्ट और सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट को जोड़ेंगे तब आपको मिलेगा प्राइस इफेक्ट। हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं रीजन बिहाइंड द लॉ ऑफ डिमांड। ग्रेट सर। All right, sir. So, sir, let's talk about the next point. Everyone, I hope all of us are ready. Everyone, I hope all of us are ready. Yes, sir, we are ready. Law of diminishing marginal utility. Again, it was given by Alfred Marshall. Now, what did Mr. Marshall say here? I will discuss with you all. Are we ready, everyone? Income effect means that when commodity becomes expensive, the purchasing power falls. Because commodities become expensive, so now with your same income, you can buy less of that commodity, so your purchasing power has fallen. So quantity demanded has fallen. Got it? Now, law of diminishing marginal utility. What does this law state? As per law of diminishing marginal utility, when you consume more and more units of a commodity, your willingness to consume each additional unit keeps on falling. Sir, please explain again. Okay, listen carefully. Suppose, guys, it is your lunch time and you order pizza. Okay, suppose you order pizza. Great? Yes. My dear friends, suppose you eat first pizza, then you eat second pizza, then you eat third pizza. Okay, everyone. Now, everybody, you tell me, what do you observe here? When did you like this pizza a lot? The first one you liked the most. The second pizza, okay, you like, but not much. Less, because your hunger is already taken care of. And third pizza, so you feel like vomiting. You like it the least. This is law of diminishing marginal utility. That as you consume more and more units of a commodity, your willingness or desire to consume any additional unit has started falling. As you consume more and more units of a commodity, your willingness or desire to consume any additional unit of a commodity starts falling. Exactly my point. So, sir, now you all tell me that first pizza, when you will be ready to pay the most price for first pizza, because you are very hungry. So first pizza, you are ready to pay highest price. Second pizza, will you be happy to pay the same price as before? Tell me yes or no. No, sir, because now my stomach is almost full. So yes, since I am still a little hungry, so I will want to eat some. So but I will want to pay lesser price, lesser price. But suppose your hunger is over, but still somebody asks you to eat pizza. Then what you will do? You will want to eat it for free, or rather you will ask them to give you price. You know what? This is what law of DMU is. That when we like the commodity a lot, we are ready to pay high price for that commodity. But as and when our willingness to pay for that commodity falls, as and when our willingness to pay for that commodity falls, as and when our willingness to pay for that commodity falls, everyone, as and when our willingness to pay for that commodity falls, we will consume lesser of that commodity. So you see, you have consumed one pizza, second and third. When? When the price has started falling. Because you only told na, that I will consume more only at a lesser price. You know why? Because my hunger is almost gone. This is what law of DMU states. That as you consume more units, your willingness falls, your willingness to consume falls. So if your willingness to consume has fallen, then your willingness to pay for that commodity will also fall. So see, when quantity rises, price falls. That is the opposite relationship. Again, the same thing. सर हिंदी में ओके जब आप एक कमोडिटी को कंज्यूम करते जाते हो, शुरुआत में आप उसके लिए ज्यादा पैसे देने को तैयार होते हो क्योंकि वो आपके पास बिल्कुल नहीं होता, क्योंकि वो कमोडिटी आपके पास बिल्कुल नहीं होता जी। पर आप लोग सोच के देखिए, जैसे जैसे वो कमोडिटी आपके पास बढ़ते चला जाएगा, जैसे जैसे वो कमोडिटी आप लोगों के पास बढ़ते चला जाएगा, क्या आपकी इच्छा करेगी उस कमोडिटी के लिए और पैसे देने की? नहीं सर, बिल्कुल भी हमारी इच्छा और नहीं करेगी कि हम उस कमोडिटी के लिए और पैसे दे, बिल्कुल भी। राइट एवरीवन, आपका बिल्कुल इच्छा नहीं करेगा कि हम उस कमोडिटी के लिए और पैसा दे। यस सर, यू आर करेक्ट। दिस इज व्हाट लॉ ऑफ डीएमयू स्टेट्स कि आप जब और कंज्यूम करोगे तो अब आपका शर्त रहेगा कि मेरे को दाम कम देना है, क्योंकि आपका पेट ऑलरेडी भर चुका है। तो अगर आप ज्यादा खरीदना भी चाहोगे तो वो तभी आप लोगे जब दाम आपका कम लगे। दिस इज व्हाट लॉ ऑफ डीएमयू इज। इज दिस क्रिस्टल क्लियर एवरीवन? राइट, फैंटास्टिक। लॉ ऑफ डीएमयू। Next two exceptions are very easy. Great. Next, arrival of new consumers. Very easy. If new consumers enter now see what was happening. Suppose initially deodorant price was 5,000 rupees. So only 3 people used to use deo or perfume. Okay. Now suppose everyone, this company comes and announces that from now on, the price of deo will not be 5,000, rather it will be 500. The price will not be 5,000, rather it will be 500. Now you will tell me what will happen? Yes, you are correct. Now people who initially were not using deodorant, now they will also start buying. So arrival of new consumer means initially they were not buying this commodity, but because the commodity became cheap, they became the customers of this commodity. ओके, सो अगेन इन हिंदी, अराइवल ऑफ न्यू कस्टमर्स का मतलब है कि पहले लोग डिओड्रेंट यूज नहीं करते थे, खाली कुछ लोग यूज करते थे क्योंकि डिओड्रेंट का प्राइस 5,000 हुआ करता था। एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूं। पर जैसे ही मान लीजिए 5,000 से 500 हुआ, तब और लोगों की इच्छा करेगी डीओ यूज करने की, क्योंकि अब डीओ सस्ता हो गया है। तो एक नया कस्टमर बेस ऐड हो चुका है। इसे कहते हैं अराइवल ऑफ न्यू कंज्यूमर। Is interesting. Pay attention everyone. Pay attention everyone. Suppose everyone milk. Milk has main use that we drink milk in the form of tea or coffee or as it is. And milk has other uses, like we can manufacture butter, cheese or cream out of it. Like we can manufacture butter, cheese, and cream out of it? Yes or no? Yes, sir, you are correct. Now, friends, what I'm telling you all is, now, friends, what I'm telling you all is that when everyone pay attention, when price of milk reduces, then what will people do? They will consume more milk. They will start using this milk to make butter, cheese on their own. Why? Because milk has become cheaper. So they will start using milk for lesser purposes also. But suppose milk becomes very expensive, then what will people do? People will consume milk only for the main purpose. And for other purposes, they will buy that commodity and not milk. Yes or no, everyone? This is what different uses is. कि जब एक कमोडिटी सस्ता है तब लोग उसको उसके सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जरूरत के लिए तो यूज करेंगे ही, बट साथ साथ में लोग उसको और भी चीजों के लिए यूज करने लगेंगे, बटर, चीज, क्रीम बनाने के लिए। पर जब उसी कमोडिटी का दाम बढ़ जाएगा तब लोग उसको सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पर्पस के लिए यूज करेंगे, अदर पर्पसेस के लिए यूज नहीं करेंगे। माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आई होप क्लियर है, आई होप इट इज क्लियर। यस सर। ऑल राइट, ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रेट। So friends, if this much is clear, friends, if this much is clear, then for today, we wind up our discussion here. In the next class, that is on Monday, we will speak further on exceptions. I mean, this one, movement and shift of demand, right? Topics like this, we will discuss elasticity. We will discuss in our Monday's class, which will also be on the last class of demand. Your homework is to study and learn till where we have done from institute's material. Revise it and keep solving and practicing questions. Okay, everyone? Yes, sir, crystal clear. Very good, everyone. So that's it for the day. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Revision we will create next day only. Revision notes. Okay, bye bye. Thank you. Yes.